Greer. They've been married 30 years, and these are their children, Sean, Shelley, and Shandell. This is Penny and Nick Greer. They've been married 18 years, and these are their children, Samantha, Jill, and Noel. And this is Alice and Ken Harrison. They've been married 20 years, and these are their children, Graham and Sarah. Today, these three families will be competing to win Mom and Dad a romantic second honeymoon. And now, here's the host of Second Honeymoon, Wayne Cox.
Yes, thank you, and welcome everyone to Second Honeymoon, the show that takes a look at three families just like your own to find out how much or how little the kids really know about Mom and Dad. Well, we've met our families, and I think they're ready to play. You ready to go, gang? Yeah! All right, good luck to all our players. Here's the way we play the game. We're going to ask the children questions about Mom and Dad. Then we're going to ask Mom and Dad the same questions. If their answers agree, they'll earn points, and the family with the most points at the end of the show will be sending Mom and Dad on a romantic second honeymoon. So let's get started. Yeah. All right. Round one is all about Mom, and it's going to be worth 20 points and 40 points, so you can chalk up a lot of numbers here. But first, we have to ask Mom and Dad to put their headsets on. And kids, why don't we say bye-bye to Mom and Dad for just a while, okay? Bye, Mom and Dad. All right, kids, here we go. First question about Mom, as I said, worth 20 points for this one. A strange woman phones and asks to speak with Dad. What do you think Mom would do? Would she pretend not to notice? Casually ask, "Who was that, dear?" Trace the call and put a 24-hour stakeout on the woman's home? Or just hang up on her? What do you think Mom would do?
Well, lots of times we get calls at our house from all sorts of people, and she'd just probably say, well, who was that?
Yeah, she'd say, "That's a doctor," so.
Just casually ask, "Who was that, dear?"
Who was that, dear?
All right, let's lock that in. Who was that, dear? That's the answer?
Yeah.
It's locked in. Okay, Jill, Noel, Samantha.
Kind of a hard one because you can never tell with Mom how she feels around a person, but she'd probably like to know who it was because usually they say who they are.
Noel?
I think she'd casually ask who it was.
Yeah? You think so, Samantha?
Yeah. Okay, I'll go for it.
Will you go with that?
Yeah.
Just casually ask, "Who was that, dear?"
Yeah.
All right, let's lock that in. Who was that, dear? All right. Here we go, Sarah and Graham. What would Mom do? A strange woman calls.
Well, Dad knows quite a lot of people. I think Mom would probably ask, or casually say, "Who was that, dear?"
Does he get a lot of calls like that, Sarah?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot. Strange women, Sarah?
Just really?
Just women?
Business calls.
Oh, business calls. All right.
Well,
So
not all the time.
she just asked, "Who was that?"
Yeah.
Casually ask, "Who was
Yeah.
that, dear?"
Yeah.
All right, that's locked in. Here's your next question. As I mentioned, the second question's worth 40 points, so you can pick up big points here. If Mom dented the family car, what's the first thing she would say to your dad? Would she say, "How did that happen?" Or would she say, "I've got some bad news. Honey, isn't it time we bought a new car?" Or would she say, "You'll never believe who I ran into today"? Well, I don't know if this has ever happened, has it?
No.
What do you think Mom would say if it did happen?
Well, she'd probably tell the truth because she doesn't like lying, and she tries to teach us that as well. She'd probably say, I got some bad news.
I've got some bad news.
Yeah.
Truth wins out here?
Yeah.
Okay, let's lock that in. Got some bad news. All right, kids.
Mom is a very honest person, so I think she'd say, "I've got some bad news."
Has this ever happened in your house, Noel?
A lot.
A lot. How many times is a lot? 5 times?
5?
It was about 5 or 4 times.
So she's had lots of practice with this particular question, all right?
Yeah.
So what would she say?
I've got some bad news.
I've got some bad news? All right, let's lock that one in. Got some bad news. All right, Sean, Shelley, Shandell.
Well, she doesn't like to pussyfoot around or anything. She's always direct.
Yeah.
Honey, I've got some bad news.
Yeah, she would.
She would tell us straight out.
She's so truthful.
Has she had to do this before?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, she
Yes.
did.
Oh, how many times in this family?
There was one time I
twice.
recall, she backed into a car and she blamed it on us.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I do.
Oh, you guys got the blame for her backing up?
Because we were little and we were being noisy in the
Oh,
car.
yeah, we're
We were noisy. It was our fault.
Naturally, you always blame it on little kids, don't you? But for this incident, she would say,
I've got bad news.
Got some bad news. Let's lock that in. All right, all the answers are locked in, and we'll be back to get Mom's side of the story when Second Honeymoon continues right after this break. Our family's been brought back together, and moms were about to find out just how well the kids really know you. Here are the questions we asked the kids. Mom, a strange woman phones and asks to speak with Dad. What would you do? Would you casually ask, "Who was that, dear?" Would you hang up on her, pretend not to notice, or trace the call and put a 24-hour stakeout on the woman's home? Well, Del, what would you do in a case like this?
Well, being that the phone is always ringing and somebody's always asking for Peter, dear Peter.
I heard that. What are these calls he's getting all the time?
Well, it's his practice.
It's just his practice to do that kind of thing?
No.
He runs a phone-in kind of service? No.
No, it's for his professional needs.
I see. Sorry, Del.
That's okay.
Almost cringing on being rude there. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Well, after 30 years, I'm very used to it. But I would casually ask who's calling and take their name and then tell Peter, dear, that he is wanted on the phone.
Well, the kid said you would ask, "Who was that, dear?" for 20 points. Well played. Okay, Penny, the phone's ringing. Strange woman on the other end.
Well, I'm another one who's used to a lot of phone calls and a lot of calls coming in at home, so I think I probably would casually ask, "Who was that, dear?"
These are business-related again, are they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, this happens, does it, Nick?
Absolutely.
A lot of
All the
strange
time.
women.
All the time.
A lot of strange women in your business.
Some strange, some not so strange.
Yeah. Well, the kid said you would ask, "Who was that, dear?" for 20 points. Well played. Okay. Alice?
Well, it can happen, can't it? And it would probably be casual at first, but, you know, it could lead on to less casual afterwards, but I'd probably casually
How
ask.
often do you think this could happen? Has this happened? No, it better not, is what you're saying, is it?
Hopefully.
Yes, all right.
So it would be casually ask, "Who was that?"
Just casually, "Who was that, dear?" Well, for 20 points, the kid said, "Who was that, dear?" Absolutely right. 20 points. Well done. All right, Mom, here's the second question. Now, this one's worth 40 points. Mom, if you dented the family car, what's the first thing you would say to Dad? Quit laughing, Nick. Would you say, "How did that happen?" Or would you say, "Honey, isn't it time we bought a new car?" Or, "I've got some bad news." Or would you say, "You'll never believe who I ran into today"? Alice?
Well, I want a Jaguar so badly, and it would be, "Honey, time we bought a new car, probably."
This has never happened, though. You've never dented the old car.
No.
No, you'd never do anything like that. So you would say,
"Time we bought a new car."
"Time we bought a new car." The kid said you would say, "You've got some bad news for Dad." Oh, too bad. Well, here we come. Here. No, not at the gear driving school. It hasn't happened, has it, Penny?
Well, you know, not often.
Once or twice?
Once or
3 or 4? How about 5, Penny? How about 5 times? 4 times. All right.
I think I'd like to keep it light
Yes,
and humorous. I think I would say, "You'll never believe who I ran into."
Oh, yeah. Well, the kid said you'd say, "I've got some bad news for you, Nick. Bad news. Oh, it's bad news." Del.
Well, the fact is that one day I did back the car in, and it was on the mechanic's property.
Is this the one you blame the kids for? Oh, that's a different one. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was a different one, I guess.
No, I tell him.
You just tell him, would you? Would you say, "How did this happen? Honey, isn't it?" Or maybe, "I've got some bad news." Or,
I've got some bad news.
"I've got some bad news." Well, the kid said, you say, "I've got some bad news" for 40 points. Yeah, well done. Okay. Well, now it's time to find out a little bit about Dad. We have some questions about you, Dad, but we have to ask Mom and Dad to put on the headsets. And kids, it's time again to say bye-bye for a while. Bye, Mom and Dad. Okay, we'll see you. Here we go now, kids. All right, first question about Dad is worth 60 points. Mom goes away for a week and leaves Dad in charge of housekeeping. What would Dad do? Would he do all the work himself? Would he bribe you guys to keep the house clean? Would he mobilize the family cleanup team just before Mom arrives? Or give Mom a pair of dark glasses when she walks through the door? Oh, it's a terrible time. Sean, Shelley, and Shandell.
Well, this is a snap because we all live in our own place and they live in their own place, so it's up to Dad to do it.
Dad would do the work
He'd do all the work himself.
He'd just do it all himself?
Yeah.
All right, well, okay, that's fine. We'll lock that in. Dad would do it all himself with no help from anybody. Good game. There you are. Alone with Dad and the housekeeping.
It's a real toughie because usually it's my dad that goes away, not my mom.
But it's 2 decisions, so.
Yeah, well, you have to narrow it down to one for us.
I'd probably say that he'd clean up before Mom arrives.
Yeah. Would he ask you guys to help out?
Yeah.
Yeah? So I guess he'd be mobilizing that family team just before Mom arrives.
Clean up before Mom
He'd let the laundry get all piled up and the dishes, huh? Oh, you don't think so, Noel? What would
I
he do?
think he'd just do all the work himself.
Yeah? Well, Samantha, you're the captain here.
Ask us to help, but
Clean up before Mom arrives.
Mobilize the family cleanup team just before Mom arrives. Let's lock that one in for now, okay? Sorry, Noel, you were overridden there. Graham, Sarah, what do you think would happen? Boy, oh boy.
Well, Dad likes sitting around a lot, doing nothing. And,
Oh, he does he?
well, usually he does his own work and then doesn't like doing other work. He'd probably bribe us to keep the house clean.
Would he, Sarah?
no, I just
You disagree. Tell me why you disagree.
because we went to California with some friends a long time ago. We went to Birch Bay and we left Dad home alone, and
Yeah.
he did all the housework.
He did
and
all by
everything
himself,
in the
eh?
house. So when we came home, it was clean.
Good old Dad. What do you say to that, Graham?
No.
No. Well, you're
Well,
the captain. So what do you say?
I say he'd bribe us to do the housework.
Okay. Well, we'll lock that in. He would bribe you to do the housework. Okay.
With him.
Oh my! I think we've got a fight on our hands back there. I'm afraid to turn around. Like you're in trouble now, Graham. Okay. Here's your next Dad question worth 80 points. If Mom were sick and Dad had to do the grocery shopping, Sarah, pay attention. If Mom were sick and Dad had to do the grocery shopping, what would Dad do? Would he carefully shop for the best bargains? Would he buy the first items he sees regardless of price? Would he pay you guys to do the shopping? Or would he just go and eat out? What would Dad do? Here's your chance to get back here, Sarah. No elbows this time. I'll tell you, I'm watching you. What do you think would happen? Mom's sick. She's in bed. Dad's got to shop.
Well, this has already happened, right?
Uh-oh.
Mom was sick because she got home from hospital. Dad's good at shopping. He knows what to buy. I'd probably say he'd carefully shop for the best bargains.
You agree on this one?
Yeah.
Does that make you feel better? No, it doesn't make you feel better, but you agree. All right. Dad would carefully shop for the best bargains. All right, that's locked in. Okay, Dan, what do you think?
Dad's always complaining about my mom spending too much money on groceries. So he'd probably carefully shop for the best bargains.
Noel?
The same. I think so. Yeah.
Is it a clean sweep?
No.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Well, whenever my mom's been away, I've always find us eating out, but I don't know, because like whenever my mom's sick, like when she was pregnant with me, my sister was always going out to eat, but I don't know what the case would be now.
Gosh, you got a great memory there, Jill. Samantha, you're the captain, though.
Carefully shop for the best bargains.
All right, let's lock that answer in. Carefully shop for the best bargains, okay? There we go. Okay, gang. What would happen?
He's famous for coming home with, like, black bananas because they were on sale.
Yeah, I'd say carefully shop for the best bargains.
Carefully shop for the best bargains? All right, let's lock that one in right now. Carefully shop for the best bargains, including black bananas, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we'll be back to just find out if Father really does know best when Second Honeymoon continues right after this break. Welcome back. Our family's been brought back together one more time, and Dads, we heard some great stories about you while you were away. Here are the questions we asked the kids. First of all, for 60 points. Dad, Mom goes away for a week and leaves you in charge of the housekeeping. What would you do? Would you bribe the kids to keep the house clean? Would you give Mom a pair of dark glasses as she walks through the door? Would you do all the work yourself, or mobilize the family cleanup team just before Mom arrives? Well, Peter, what are you going to do about that?
Wayne, I'd be tempted to recruit the whole family. But usually it happens the other way, that I do the job. Because then I know it's going to be done right, you see. That's right.
Oh, crushing blow to the kids.
Yeah.
Well, the kids said you would do the work yourself. Absolutely, there's 60 points. Well done. Okay, Nick.
Well, Wayne, I'd be tempted to bribe, but bribes on my children would be far too high, which I couldn't afford at all. So I think I'd take the easy way out and mobilize the entire family team just before Penny came home.
Well, the kids said you would mobilize the family cleanup team. Absolutely right, for 60 points. Okay, Ken, what do you think you'd do?
Well, I've been in that situation before, Wayne, so I think we'd mobilize the family cleanup crew and let it go at that.
Let's see what the kids said. They said you would bribe them to help them. Oh, you ought to try bribery next time. Further ahead. Okay, here's your second question. Dad's worth 80 points. Dad, if Mom were sick and you had to do the grocery shopping, what would you do? Would you pay the kids to do the shopping? Would you eat out? Would you carefully shop for the best bargains around? Or buy the first items you see regardless of price? Ken, what would you do?
No, I've done some shopping before, but I don't know. I don't know. I tend to spend too much, so that's why she doesn't let me do the shopping. But probably I don't know. We'd probably eat out. That's what we'd
Eat out? Well, the kids said you would carefully shop for the best bargains. You're a careful shopper, Ken. Too bad. Well, Nick, you've got experience in this.
Well, the problem with all of those, Wayne, bar one, is it means I would have to cook and prepare a meal, which is impossible. So we would clearly eat out.
You would? The kids said you would clearly, carefully shop for the best bargains. Oh, Nick, too bad. All right, Peter, what do you say there?
Well, my wife lets me shop from time to time. In fact, I often enjoy going with her, up to a point. I don't want to shop too much.
Yeah.
You know,
you wouldn't want to do
5 minutes is plenty. But
what do you think
in
you'd
this
do?
case, I would shop carefully.
You would? How about any buys these days on black bananas, Peter? Anyway, the kids said you would carefully shop for the best bargains. 80 points. Well done. Okay, now it's time to play our final round of Second Honeymoon. We're going to ask Mom, Dad, and two of their children a family question. This time they'll write down their answers, and each correct match will be worth 100 points. This question will determine who's going to go off on a fabulous second honeymoon. Here's your question. What is the one thing Dad owns that everyone in the family wishes he would throw out? While you're writing down the answer, we're going to take a commercial break. Well, Mums and Dads, it's time now to find out who's going to go off on that fabulous second honeymoon. And Dads, we're going to be asking your family to match your answer. Each correct match wins your family 100 points. The question once again, what is the one thing Dad owns that everyone in the family wishes he would throw out? Now, the Harrisons have 20 points, the Greers with 80, the Brouwers with 20. We will start with the Harrison family. Ken, what's the one thing they want you to throw out?
I think my wife likes me to throw out my old clothes. I always save them for work clothes, and I never do. So
let's have a look.
I just
Your
said
old clothes. All right, Alice. Old clothes. Hey. That's a match. Sarah, can you add 100 points to that? What do you say?
Beer.
His beer. One thing you got to learn, Sarah, you never, ever throw out beer. Isn't that right, Ken? That's correct, yes. All right, Graham, what do you say? His papers from his car, I'm sorry. Harrison's, you end up with 120 points. All right, Gears, you can do it. Nick, what's the one thing they want you to throw out?
Well, there is only one thing, Wayne. A year ago, Penny and I gave up smoking, and I sinned and took it back up. So it has to be cigarettes.
Cigarettes. Oh, great, Penny. Cigarettes for 100 points. 180 points for the Gears. All right, Jill, you're closing in on the Browers. What do you say it is?
Da-na-na-na.
His cigarettes. Yeah. 280 points. And we take 50 points off for spelling. No, we don't. And Samantha, for 100 points, what do you say?
There's been something sitting in the basement for years, and he tries and tries, but never has time to work on it.
And what is it? His train set. Oh. Well, with 280 points, Gears, you are in the lead. Browers, it's now up to you. Peter, what's the one thing?
Well, I was going to put something else down.
I don't want to hear about that one.
Oh, okay.
I want to hear about what you did put down.
Okay, I put down old clothes.
Old clothes. Old clothes for 100 points. 300 points. We might as well go down the line. Shandell, what did you say?
Well, mine is old clothes, but it's more specific.
Yeah.
Holy white undershirt.
Holy white undershirt. Well, as a matter we're going to take that. The judges say yes for 4. Sean, make it official. It's green hat. Well, with 400 points per hour, it doesn't matter because you're off on a fabulous. You're today's winner of Second Honeymoon. Congratulations, Peter and Dell Brouwer. Thank you very much, dear. Fabulous game. Harrison's a great game. You did a great job. All right, Peter and Dell Brouwer, sit down, kids. Sit down. Leave your mom and dad alone. Sit down, because Peter and Dell, we know that 30 years ago on your first honeymoon, the vibrating bed in your hotel malfunctioned and you woke up at 2 in the morning. Well, that will never happen, we guarantee you, because we are going to send you on a fabulous second honeymoon to Waikiki, Hawaii.
That's right, Wayne, Dell, and Peter. Your trip to the vacation capital of Waikiki begins as we fly you in style and comfort aboard Northwest Airlines. Northwest serves over 130 cities in 20 countries worldwide. Relax and enjoy the sun-drenched beaches of this magnificent tropical paradise. While in Waikiki, you'll stay at the elegant Hyatt Regency Waikiki, where you'll be pampered in grand style for 7 luxurious days. Experience the natural splendor of Diamond Head and the native music, dance, and Hawaiian hospitality that awaits you on your island adventure. A romantic vacation you'll never forget. All compliments of Second Honeymoon.
Join us again next time when we find out how well the kids know Mom and Dad on Second Honeymoon. Goodbye, everybody. Congratulations.
If you'd like to be a contestant on Second Honeymoon, call us at area code 604-421-1600. That's area code 604-421-1600. This is Doc Harris for Second Honeymoon, a presentation of Northern Lights Media in association with Martindale Gildan Productions.